Hey, how's it going? My name is Max and I'm the developer of Hydroneer. This week's episode, I'm going to take a look back and see what I've been doing this week. I've been spending this week getting everything prepared for the 1.3 update. That means I've been going in, doing all these small changes and fixes just to get everything ready so I can start working on the bigger features. In these episodes, I don't go into absolutely everything that I put into the new updates and patches, just the highlights. But what I've done so far is quite a lot of work. There's already about 30 changes you can see on the patch notes. So anyway, let's take a look back and see what I've been up to this week. So the first cool new feature in 1.3 that I'm going to show off is the way that you pick up items is a little bit different now. It still, uses E to pick up and drop items, but instead of them just appearing in your hand automatically, they actually kind of magnetize to your hand. So you can see right there, it looks pretty cool. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I feel like I was playing it earlier and it just feels like the game is just a lot more immersive with this one tiny little change. It's one of those things where you've just got to try it yourself to really understand the big impact that it has on the game. There is one problem, however, with the system right now. If I go and pick up this shovel that is lying down in this orientation, it kind of looks a little weird because it doesn't really rotate as it moves towards you. So that is something that I want to work on next. So I've just made that change and it has made a very big difference, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. So whenever I go and pick up the item, it'll rotate towards me as well as move towards me. I think it looks really cool, especially with items that are pretty far from their rotation point. You can see like that, it works really, really nice. So yeah, really happy with how this has come out. I think it's going to make a really nice addition to the game. And just one tiny change like that can make a big, big difference. And that brings me nicely onto an item that I'd like to introduce to Hydroneer. And it's a new resource, and it's a very, very rare resource. This has got a 1% drop chance, and this was added precisely because of the 1.3 engineering update. And the reason I'm adding in a new resource is because the engineering system really requires a rare resource for the system to work the way I intend it to. So this is it right here. It's called Cloutium. And yeah, it looks pretty similar to the brass kind of piping that's in the game. And that's on purpose. The engineering update will allow you to be able to craft your own pipes with this material. I think it looks really cool. I didn't really want to call it brass because obviously brass is like an alloy, and I didn't really want to add in alloys to the game. So I've just created this brand new material. While we talk about it, I may as well mention as well that the crucibles have had a complete overhaul. And one of the new things is you can actually see the height of the melted resource. So now you can have a better idea of how full a crucible is. Although there is no limit on how full a crucible can get, I probably should mention. But like the bars and the ores and all the resources, there is a visual limit on how big something can get. I did notice a big issue with a lot of new players. They kind of didn't really understand, especially at the start, the difference between the blue crosshair and the green crosshair. So I actually made it so you can empty the crucible with the green crosshair as well as the blue crosshair. So if I do this, you can see I've left in the debug line, but essentially it casts one down and creates the bar. So something got mailed to me the other day and I thought it was really, really cool. One of the community helpers, Fizzle, has actually sent me a real life hydro coin. I'm not sure if that's gonna be blurry. I'll put up a photo on screen now that I took when it arrived the other day, and I think it looks amazing. I also wanted to show this really cool fan art by a guy called Groove. It's like a shard longsword, and the art on this is amazing. It looks really, really cool. I love the detail and also all the color. And I think it's really cool how he's added in all these like build items that kind of work with the longsword as well. If you want to check it out for yourself, head to the Discord link below. That's the Discord server for my channel. And you can check out all of the artwork that people have sent in, as well as some really cool bases from Hydroneer. So a popular request from everyone was to add in more items for the base. So I've added in a few new things. So we've got the fancy chair, which is kind of like a cheaper throne, I guess. A simple chair. I've also made these tables a bit taller as well. So this table and the other table that's in the game. Just some other things is we've got just a cool little cactus item. It's just a simple cactus. So that's that one. and also just a planter box as well. So I'm really happy with these, but I feel like there is definitely one more item which is very highly requested, so I'm going to work on that one next. Okay, so here we are in Substance Painter. I've just got the model from Chewy and I've just done a quick pass of what the model will look like when it's finished. You can see here I've got the emissive colors. It's kind of like the glowiness that the lantern produces. Not actually the lighting elements, but just like the aesthetics of it looking like it's glowing. So I can toggle that on and off, and when I export that, I'll work that into the code so I can turn that on and off and I can fade it in and out. One thing that I want to work on right here is this part right here is all blue. So I'm going to edit the way the material looks. So it looks a little bit more like this hand painted texture over here. If you are new here and you don't know that, I use Substance Painter to do all of the textures for my models, and I use a system where I've created some smart materials to do all of the texture work for me. So to give it that hand painted feel, but doing it all a lot quicker where I don't actually have to hand paint it, I can just plug it in using my smart materials that I made. So I'm just going to change some of the values. So there we are. I've just added in a bit more contrast between the colors, so you can see there's a little bit more detail in here and also some more detail up in this part right here. So all I need to do now is export these textures out, put them into the game engine, and then make this new object. Okay, so the lantern is fairly complete. I really didn't have to do a lot of code. I pretty much copied over the lantern that's already in the game. And so here we go. Right, so pick it up and let's just snap it on this bit of dirt here. And then simple as, just click it to turn it on and off. And I think that looks great. So I dug a hole as well just to see what it would look like underground. This lantern is a little bit darker than the base lighting that's already in the game, and I think it works a lot better having it a bit darker just because it can be used you know, underground mines. It looks a bit nicer when it's a little bit less dark, but I think that looks awesome. I'm really happy with how this came out. And this update is going to be full of loads of these suggestions and requests that have come in from players. So obviously I'm touching a very small part of the update in today's video. So be sure to be subscribed because I've got a hell of a lot more to put in this update. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to support me, please consider reviewing Hydroneer on Steam. Those reviews really do help out. Also, you can join my Patreon and see these videos a couple days earlier. The link is down below in the description if you'd like to sign up. The minimum tier is $2. A big thank you to my Patreons as always, and I will see you all next week.